To thoughtful youth it pleasure yields and lures from cities and from fields to sell their liberty for charms of tawdry lace and glittering arms. And when ambition's voice commands to march and battle foreign lands, I love that drum's discordant sound, parading round and round and round. This is the 34th Annual Drum Corps International World Championship.
Buses are being unloaded. The top 12 drum and bugle corps in the world are here, backstage, in the parking lots, prepping for a performance that will culminate their competitive year. These teenagers know they better be ready if they want to win, as the halftime show becomes the game. Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, home of the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. It's here tonight. A different kind of champion will be crowned. This has been one of the most competitive years ever in this musical sports, and that's what everyone is gunning for. The Drum Corps International World Championship Trophy. Hello again, everybody. I'm Steve Rondinero, pleased to be the host of this Drum Corps Championship telecast for a 27th year, and delighted to be joined once again by venerable percussion guru Dennis DeLucia. Many, many moons ago when we both marched, well, there are a lot of similarities, but things have changed over the years as well.
Well, you're right, Steve. Great to be with you once again. These corps spend the entire summer traveling thousands of miles to compete in 30 to 35 contests. Like a great skater or gymnast, they spend many, many hours practicing their program in the pursuit of perfection. 135 members in each corps, musicians who play brass or percussion instruments, color guard members who use flags, rifles, sabers, and dance moves to bring the music to life. Tonight, Steve, the finest drum corps in the world.
Most of these young people are college students or high school kids, some as young as 15. Many of them the cream of the crop from their marching bands and color guards back home. But make no mistake about it, this is their Super Bowl. Unlike the NFL, however, these musical athletes pay richly for the privilege of getting out here and competing, sleeping on gym floors, and honing their skill. And they'd better enjoy the experience, because they're out at the tender age of 21. They age out. The rules say they can march no longer.
Too old.
Joining us on our broadcast crew tonight is James Landrum. Just 3 years ago, he was the drum major of the Bluecoats, leading that corps into the championships. These days, he's playing percussion in the Army band stationed in Hawaii. Earlier this evening, James caught up with one of tonight's performers.
Thanks, Steve. I am here with Chris Medeo of the Boston Crusaders. Now, Chris, you got to tell me, how is it going to be to perform out there in front of a hometown crowd of more than 25,000 people tonight?
Man, we've been working all year for this moment right here, and to be able to put a show out on the field for that crowd, for a stadium full of our fans who have kept the traditions of our drum corps alive as our members are today, means the world to myself and to my entire drum corps.
Great. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks a lot.
Now, joining me tonight, former color guard captain of the Blue Devils color guard, and now a featured member of the national tour of the musical Blast, Jessica Allen.
Thanks, James. I am here with Janelle Ewan of the Blue Devils color guard. Now, Janelle, you've been working really hard all season, and tonight's performance is really important. How are you going to prepare for tonight's show?
Well, all we got to do is stay focused, keep the emotion down, and just know that we're going to have fun out there.
All right, Janelle, have a great performance tonight.
Last night's semifinals determined tonight's lineup, and there are some familiar names in that elite top six.
We've got a very competitive battle for the title between Cadets and Cavaliers, with Cadets overtaking them late season.
Carolina Crown sits in 7th with the hometown Boston Crusaders and Santa Clara Vanguard in a tight fight for 8th.
And this is the first time Santa Clara might finish lower than 7th in the 34-year history of DCI.
Tonight we'll show you highlights of all these corps. There's a pretty impressive array of hardware on display here at Gillette Stadium. The 3 Vince Lombardi trophies captured by the New England Patriots, and the prize these corps are gunning for tonight, the Drum Corps International World Championship Trophy.
Experience the thrill of live drum and bugle corps. From Orlando to Seattle, San Diego to Boston, there's a Drum Corps International event just around the corner. There are more than 140 drum corps competitions throughout the United States and Canada next summer. Experience the power and passion of modern drum and bugle corps. There's nothing else like it in the world.
Welcome back to the 2005 Drum Corps International World Championship. 25,000 Drum Corps fans are in Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Let's go backstage now with the Boston Crusaders.
The activity has waited 30-something years to have Boston Crusaders in Boston in finals. Now, like I said, be smart with emotion, controlled hype, give it everything you've got, but when you come off that field, know that you've left your heart and soul on that field like you have with each other as people. And I want to applaud you before you even go on that field because I am completely honored and cherished to be your director. Let's make it a great show, guys.
They have the home field advantage here in Foxborough tonight. The Boston Crusaders are also celebrating their 65th anniversary.
And this show celebrates the joys of life. The tune, Sing, Sang, Sung.
$25,000 fans enjoying the Boston Crusaders with the swinging sing-sang-sung portion of their show.
Well, what a colorful show it is, Steve. Six-time finalist, Boston Crusaders. You know, the swing idiom is so difficult to bring off on a drum corps field because the percussion must drive it. They do it brilliantly.
Now, do remember, this is a competition. Corps are shooting for a perfect score of 100. Earlier, you saw some of the green-shirted judges out on the field. We'll tell you more about who the judges are and what they look for a little later. To the audience and the corps tonight in Foxborough, the scores will be revealed at the end of the competition. However, we're going to keep you, the television viewer, up to date on the standings, revealing scores after each corps' performance. And the Boston Crusaders tonight are in with an 88.4.
Scores are broken down into general effectiveness, visual, and music captions. Their visual score was much lower than they had hoped for.
As a matter of fact, if we take a look at the leaderboard now, you can see the Santa Clara Vanguard leading Boston Crusaders in second. That score not enough to take the Vanguard, who performed earlier tonight. Highlights of Santa Clara later in the program. Let's go to James now.
I'm here with Boston Crusaders drum major Phil Lisi. Phil, talk to me about what it was like to play here this last show of the year in front of this great hometown crowd.
Well, it's such a great honor to have the opportunity to perform in front of a hometown crowd up here in Boston. Having just the energy of 65 years of alumni behind us as I'm on top of that podium and have the corps feed off that energy right back at me, it's just one incredible moment.
Well, if you think it's hot and humid here tonight, you're right. When you watch these corps perform, you have to marvel at the complexity and quality of what they do. Where do the ideas come from, and how do they bring them to life with 135 talented performers?
The product you see on the field for a drum corps has lots of layers that happen prior to seeing the end result.
We usually get together for a meeting in October to sit at a table and just start brainstorming. Many times Scott Coder, the program coordinator, will just bring stacks of CDs and we'll listen to music, not so much that we think that we want to play, but different flavors of music that we would want to see incorporated in the show somehow, whether we're going to use original music or use those actual pieces.
After we've chosen a program and picked the music, you shape, you edit, you pare down that music and kind of start really big and broad, and then keep cleaning and detailing until that final little scrape or little.
Then it's my job to take those ideas back in front of the computer and my keyboard and start to bring those ideas to life for the brass.
Then we all get that usually as a computer file. Then I sit down behind my computer and I will start with the sections of the music that I feel the strongest about. This morning I received another file from Richard. This is an example of how we use technology. Yesterday he added this measure, 53A, but then today we added a 53B to make this culminating effect longer. So my responsibility today was to get this 53B written right away, and then I emailed this measure. Basically, these two bars by themselves, I just emailed out to the guys in rehearsal, so it's already taught. And that was an hour ago.
When I sit down to write drill, I actually have a page, a production sheet, so I can see where I am, what's coming up. I know where the instruments have to be. I know what the color guard is doing at this point. I know who's playing in the battery. So I'll listen to the music, try and figure out how I can visually interpret the music as well as the concept. The priority 95% of the time is always placing the musicians in an area that they can succeed playing. I mean, that's your primary responsibility as a drill writer. The tricky part, and oftentimes the fun part, is figuring out how to do that in an effective way that people will respond to and enjoy. You know, before doing it by hand, you had to just train your mind to know how things move from one set to the other. With the computer programs, the animation is there for you so you can actually look at it. When the members are learning the drill, they use a system of coordinates, meaning they're given information side to side and front to back of where they're supposed to be located at any particular time. So they'll be given a coordinate A and their next coordinate B, and they know how many counts it takes to get from one to the other.
Once Michael Gaines starts to drive a visual idea, we may have to add or take out counts from the music that we've been playing for 3 or 4 months. If he needs 16 more counts to develop a visual idea, then it's our job to create the music to go with the movie.
Every day, Brett, can we add some more counts here? Michael needs more counts. He's had all the music for 3 months, but he needs more counts now.
When I decide on choreography, I take the music first, and say you have a low note that's here and then a high note that's here, and it goes ba-da-da, comes up, then you want to make the flag do that same type of motion. Just like a long note, it holds out for a certain amount of time. You want to make sure you see the color for that certain amount of time, so the audience can feel like they understand the music better, or maybe it becomes words for the music for them, or they actually get to see the music.
Once we get to the 16th of June, which is the first show, from then on, that last step is a very long process, because at that point we have to be out with the kids, we have to understand the pacing of the show, what their physical capabilities are, and what we have to do as designers to maximize the effects in the show.
There is never a time that everything we're doing isn't scrutinized and isn't looked at in a way that we can make it better.
The most important thing for us designing a show is that the people who pay the money for the tickets are having a great time. It's all about the audience and that reaction that you guys give our kids after hours and hours of work. That's our job in the summer, is to max out that performance for you and for the member.
Coming up, a corps known for their wall of sound. How do the Corrs create that bodacious brass you can't hear anywhere else? We'll show you when we return. Welcome back to Gillette Stadium. Carolina Crown comes into this contest in 7th. They hope to move up a spot or two on the strength of their big brass sound. Phantom Regiment helps us take a closer look at a drum corps horn line.
The horn line on the field conveys the music. They convey the emotion.
The trumpets are carrying the soprano voice, the treble sounds.
When you're hearing the trumpets, you're hearing the licks. You're hearing the cool parts. You're hearing the screaming high notes.
The mellophones are our alto voice, and they very often play a counter melodic role, and also they're kind of known in drum corps for playing all the fast licks.
We're the ones with like the cool parts that everyone's like, oh, I wish I played the mellophone because they have the coolest parts.
If you've ever heard any major orchestras, it'll sound pretty similar to the French horn.
I like to think of it as like warm chocolate, sort of like a milk chocolatey kind of like rich tone.
Euphonium means sweet sound, good sound, and you can play very beautiful melodies on it, but at the same time have a lot of power behind it and be aggressive too.
Make sure the aperture is down. In our corps, the euphoniums are known as basically the meat and potatoes of the horn sound. That tenor sound is what we go after.
Here at Phantom Regiment, we're called Buicks, because we got the power, or the meat of the chord. There's a group of people watching the Phantom Regiment, the 89 show. They said, man, those guys sound like a fleet of Buicks coming at us. And it just kind of stuck.
To me, it's not really what it sounds like, but what it feels like. You know, it's the bass, it's the subwoofer at your house. It's a beast of an instrument.
It's the biggest thing on the field.
It's a lot of weight on your shoulders. It's like a battle, you know? It's like being out in war.
Holding this 30-pound piece of metal around every day for 12 hours, it takes a lot of strength and stamina to want to get up and do it again the next day.
It's a different world in each section.
Trumpet players tend to be more confident about themselves, tend to always be right.
Trumpet players kind of have a bit of an ego.
Mellophone players kind of have this aura that's different from the rest of the horn line, I guess.
We're just kind of mellow all the time.
We're probably just a lot mellower.
I think euphonium players just kind of sit back and know it. Like, we don't have to say anything about it, we just know.
The personality of conch player is pretty laid back, you know.
We're all a bit strange, really. I think we're the most closely bonded section. We're just one happy family.
When it comes down to it, yeah, we're all in this together. We're the horn line.
All in it together. It's time to see if the big angelic brass sound of Carolina Crown can put them on top. This corps has had 2 huge back-to-back seasons.
This show is about the presence of angels. This production is called The Messenger. They're 9-time finalists.
Carolina Crown just this side of heavenly.
What a great brass ensemble and color guard. What a terrific sound they have. The highest placement ever was 7th last year. So tough to break into the top 6.
It really is, but they have been there now these last 2 years, steady. And they are the first corps, as we look at the replay, to break 90.725. Here's James now on the field with member Evan Van Doren.
Do you ever just look around and say, wow, did we just make all that sound?
Yes, all the time. It's really mind-boggling because, I come from a small school, so do a lot of the other kids, and to create that kind of a rich sonority and attention to detail, it's incredible.
So checking out our current standings, Carolina Crown atop with that 90.725. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Drum Corps International World Championship. 12 corps battled their way into finals. We're featuring the top 8, but we want to take a moment to salute the corps that already performed tonight, seeded 12th through 9th.
Spirit from Jacksonville State University with their show of Broadway hits. Glassman from Toledo, Ohio, gave us a contemporary treatment of Dvorak's New World Symphony. The Blue Knights from Denver, Colorado, played a program of mostly original music written especially for them. And the Vanguard from Santa Clara, California, playing a Russian music show, currently in 2nd place. Musical skills and a flair for performing are essential to drum corps. But the physical and mental demands of marching rival that of well-conditioned athletes. These kids make what they do look easy. It is not.
We put a device on him that allowed us to measure how hard he's working, his metabolic rate. And what it actually measures is his oxygen consumption, his carbon dioxide production, the amount of air that he breathes, in addition to the heart rate. And it's sent via telemetry to a computer that does the calculations that tells us how much energy he's expending. Out of curiosity, let's go ahead and put your drum set on just to see how that all works. If you look right now, his values are going to start going up simply because this drum kit's almost 30% more addition to your body weight. Do you remember when we were watching from the sidelines? Your heart rate went shooting up as soon as they started playing, even though you didn't even have your drums on at that time. His heart rate went up to 180 beats per minute, and he hadn't done anything. It's just like the athletes hearing the gun go off. This is being driven by probably the sympathetic part of the nervous system. You can think of it as an adrenaline rush. And he's used to, as soon as he hears those notes, he's used to, I'm in the middle of performance mode. And so that kicks in. The body was ready for that, even though he's standing alongside. They get incredibly high heart rates during the performance, and it actually doesn't vary a lot. Your heart rate was up over 200 beats per minute. What did mirror the activity on the field was the oxygen consumption. It got as high very briefly as 40 mLs per kg per minute. Now, what does that mean? That's about 13, 14 times his resting metabolic rate. The little black crosshatches are the heart rate response. The little red squares are the oxygen consumption. The oxygen consumption is generally about what it would be during the middle of a marathon for a well-trained runner who's halfway through a marathon. If you looked at the heart rate, though, you would think that you were looking at someone who's running a 400 or 800 meter dash maximally. So he's working very hard out there. Now, what we were seeing was a heart rate that went up and stayed up. And I suspect that's because of the performance portion. Because we saw that heart rate response alongside the field, even though he wasn't performing, that alone tells me that the music in and of itself and his reaction to it is having an effect on his heart rate. And that's what kind of tipped us off that there's something different about these guys. These performers work very hard metabolically, but they're also doing an amazing amount of work that most of us would find very stressful. And this stress encompasses everything from doing the music correctly, doing the steps correctly, handling the heat, as well as just the plain work that they're doing.
Wow. Thanks to the Cavaliers' Jordan Thomas for letting us wire him up for our research project. The judges also have to keep fit. They're running like a quarterback under siege. Judgment Day when we come back. Welcome back. A long summer of practice and competition has brought the world's top drum corps here to Foxborough. Tonight they have their sights set on impressing the judges. But who are these critics, and what are they looking for?
Are the judges ready?
My name is Bob Thomas.
Good evening, Blue Stars. This is Dallas Niemeyer.
It's my pleasure to be your visual performance judge today.
What we're looking for tonight is the musicality that you display as a total ensemble.
Watch the pacing here. A little bit concerned about the visual development.
Very, very solid.
The DCI judge is one who tries to examine specifics in a program. That's why there's more than one judge. Currently we're using 8 and sometimes 9, and each one of those people has a separate discipline that he focuses on, separate set of sheets, separate kinds of criteria, all geared to focus on finding and rewarding achievement and accomplishment of the performers. All of us, in one degree or another, are looking at what they're doing and how they're doing it.
Yes, excellent job, Sabres.
We have people on the field assessing essentially individual performance. There's an individual visual judge or marching judge, an individual percussion judge on the field, and an individual brass judge. Their responsibility is to assess achievement in small groups, quite often individuals.
That attack wasn't so good there by the tenor's right hand.
You get a different perspective than you would get being up in the stands. We are able to look at minutia details that are presented, and a lot of teams spend a lot of time with attention to detail. Thank you very much, color guard. You did that very, very well.
Up in the press box or in the upper deck of the stadium, there are 2 general effect judges. One music effect, who's looking at the overall effect of the musical program, percussion and brass, and one visual effect, who's looking at the overall visual package. And those 2 are related. There's a color guard judge who's assessing the color guard's involvement. There's 2 ensemble judges, one music ensemble who's listening to the musicality and proficiency of the entire ensemble. And then there's an ensemble visual judge who's looking at the way the program is put together, the mechanics of the whole thing.
off to the hilt, but to enhance it even further.
We allow the instructors to speak to the judges after the competition, and in this case today, in a specialized setting for a longer extended period of time, to discuss what their program is, what their goals are, what they're trying to say with their program. Maybe some of their ideas are not communicating to the audience as a public art yet. It's still a little private for them, and how they can get those ideas to be expressed to the audience a little more clearly, and they become more successful.
Yeah, it really gives us the opportunity to share with the judges exactly what our motivations are, exactly how we wanted to interpret the music, how we're asking the members to interpret the music through their performance. You know, there are always times, especially when the judges see the show for the first time, where they don't quite realize everything that's going on. We go to critique and we explain exactly what our motivation was and what that instrument was, and how we're utilizing it, and how it works into the program. And then the next time they see it, light comes on, they say, okay, now I understand. Now I understand what they say, and they'll give us credit for that.
I see the judge as the ultimate drum corps fan. I think the judge and the judges community would comprise the second largest group of people who dedicate the second largest amount of time to the activity. You have to have a passion for the kids, for the product, and the entire environment, the entire process. So I don't think the adversarial relationship is one that has very much merit. I think that we, again, are the ultimate fan, and the success of the drum corps is ultimately the goal of every judge.
I don't want to leave. Play more.
The judges will have their work cut out for them with our next corps, the Madison Scouts. They're next up when we return as the 2005 Drum Corps International World Championship continues. Welcome back. This was the scene moments ago with the Madison Scouts.
Gentlemen, congratulations. You've made it to DCI finals. You are the 134 plus one lady that made it. I congratulate you as great individuals, great performers, and great friends.
Madison has been an all-male corps since 1938, but this year's program is based on the opera Carmen. So for the second time in their history, the men of Madison have a special guest performer. And just like in the opera, Carmen dies in the end.
This show is actually part Carmen, part West Side Story, really. But it all works. Back in the top 6 for the first time since 1999. Great brass sound as always. But this year, quality percussion, quality visual to go along with it.
And always a crowd favorite. Let's resurrect and meet Carmen now.
I am here with Rebecca Hirschman, the Carmen of the show here. Now, you've been on the road for 3 months with 135 guys. What's that been like?
Oh, it's been such a blast. I mean, getting the chance to perform with a great corps that I've admired for so many years has been amazing, an experience I could never, even dream of having. But the guys have been amazing and have just shown me so much respect that it's been a blast, and they've all become like my big brothers. So it's going to be really sad to say goodbye to all of them.
I can't even imagine. So was there a point where you wish there was a few more girls on tour?
Well, we had some staff members that were girls, so they always kind of acted like my big sisters or moms, and so that was always great to have them, and it was just an amazing experience. So
that's fantastic. You were beautiful tonight.
Thank you
very
so much.
Madison in with a score of 92.625, almost 2 points ahead of Carolina Crown.
A 2-point spread of championship, Steve. That's very, very big.
Well, that may be the end of Carmen, but not us. We'll be right back. The Bluecoats are moving into Gillette Stadium now. This is the Coats' best year ever, thanks in part to their stellar drum line. Snares, quads, basses. With the help of the cadets, let's take a look at the guys and gals who put the drum into drum corps. This segment is sponsored by the Band and Orchestral Division of Yamaha Corporation of America.
The percussion section consists of the pit, or front ensemble, and the drum line, also known as the battery. The drum line consists of 3 sections: the snares, the tenors, or quads, and then the bass line. The role of the snare line during performance is just to keep the show in time, basically. The drum major goes off of our feet. He's looking at the exact time that your foot hits the ground to make sure that his hands are doing exactly the same time. We do this thing called dutting, and before you come in, you dut. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, dut, 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 and then you come in with your attack to make sure that everybody's got the beat all together, and then we come in together. The personality of a snare drummer. They're usually, I hate to say this, but they're probably pretty cocky. The main role is to just play the most notes out of everybody.
These are tenors, made up of 4 drums, they're usually called quads. 4 different drums, and then we have 2 of these effects up here called spocks or gocks. You get to play everything that the snares do, except you get to put it around and move around, and you'll notice like a lot of crossover and like visual stuff. These drums weigh between, let's say 40 and 45 pounds. You gotta be, very into it and very, very motivated every day, because they're not exactly light.
The role of the bass drum is to provide the impact for the core. The loudest noise you hear on the field is going to be the bass line.
We have 5 drums here, different pitch, so they can do different melodic things as well, up and down.
We mostly split up the snare book. Between the 5 of us, we play all their notes. Each person is playing like a different part at a different point in time, so once we put all our parts together, it lines up as like one solid piece of music. It's like a puzzle piece. I'd have to say, when you're looking at a bass line, the thing to look for is just 5 people who play exactly the same all the time. If you don't have that, then you don't have a bass line.
The pit is also known as the front ensemble. This consists of the keyboards, such as the marimba, vibraphone, xylophone, and also other drums like the timpani. And we also have cymbals and accessories that also play. It's more or less just the icing on the cake of the corps. Whereas we don't have to march, but kind of get a lot of the rap for not doing as much in the drum corps, but we really do. We have a lot of stuff to move around, but the coolest thing is that we get to perfect our music, and I think that our music tends to be a little more challenging for our instruments than a lot of the other stuff, because all we do is play music.
When I go out at the shows, I try to just put everything I have into it, and you just get in there and do what you have to do, smiling the whole time.
Now you have a little more insight into the percussive aspect of these performances, and our next corps will feature one of the most distinctive percussion sections of these championships.
The Bluecoats based their show around the song Caravan tonight.
The Duke Ellington Classic Caravan is done their way. 5th place in semifinals.
Now, for the uninitiated, the fans are not booing, they're bluing. A drum corps tradition when the blue coats are on the field.
And they can really sell that show, can't they? The brass percussion ensemble is so rock solid with this corps, and they are very, very effective musically.
Certainly paces that caravan music. Here's another replay as we see it all integrated there, the percussion, the heart and soul of it all, Dennis.
Absolutely, and very clean, very musical this year.
And right now the Bluecoats are in first with an almost 2-point spread over the Madison Scouts.
They're in line for their best finish ever.
Next, the 11-time world champion Blue Devils run their show backwards. 'Tis a hot, humid night here in Foxborough, but these corps are giving it everything they have regardless. They're shooting for the moon, a Drum Corps International World Championship title, the Super Bowl of marching music.
I truly love you guys, man. I love what you're all about. I couldn't have picked like 135 better people to hang out with during the summer, and that's you guys. This has been awesome. Have a great time. It's going to be an experience. Enjoy it. Get on that roller coaster and hang on tight. Let's go do it, all right? Yeah. Let's go.
If the drums bring the rhythm and the horns provide the melody, the personality and flair of the drum corps comes from the color guard. Now, don't try to pigeonhole them or call them flag twirlers. They're also dancers, and remember, they have rifles and sabers, and they know how to use them.
Well, the color guard adds visual enhancement to the show. It brings the music to life.
We're trying to put a visual face on the music.
It's the emotion, it's the mood. Is your show happy? Is it sad? Should I be excited at this part? And through the color guard, you can kind of get a taste of that.
We can be expressive with our faces and with our bodies and be telling the story of the show.
Your uniform and everything, it's all a giant character. It's not me going out there, it's a character. You're in theater.
We're able to improvise a lot.
I think that's one of my favorite things about Guard is that you are an individual. People can look at you and know you for your face and who you are and watch you perform specifically.
We try to get the audience involved, get them to have fun as we have fun, get them to feel what we're feeling during the show.
Whatever we're doing, we're trying to get people to look at us.
It's the best feeling when you look an audience member in the eye, you totally mess with them and like just perform to them, and then you see them smile back at you. The basic pieces of equipment in the color guard are your flags, your sabers, your rifles, and then there's sometimes your dancers. With each piece of equipment, we are able to express any emotion.
We use rifles in the ballad during like really, really slow music, and we use flags in the closer when it's really, really fast. So there's not like a specific piece of equipment for a specific type of music.
Everybody basically gets to do a little bit of everything, but we definitely have our lines.
Flags are usually the basic component of color guard, although at the same time they're most important in a lot of cases, because if anyone's out of sync with a flag, you can see it.
Flag is a lot about exposing color and like letting the fabric be shown.
We're using metal sabers this year. The thing with the saber is just catching it at a strong position, not letting it wiggle and stuff when you catch it. They're not sharp, but they do hurt when they hit.
This is basically a standard rifle. It's a 38-inch. You bond with your rifle throughout the season. Right here's a spotter. When it goes in the air for tosses, you want to spot this. It's the center of the gun, so when it's rotating, it doesn't move.
It's definitely harder than what people think it is.
There's actually a lot more than you could imagine going into a single toss.
I know exactly how many rotations it goes. I know exactly when it leaves my hands and exactly when it's supposed to come back and how many times it turns from the time that it leaves my hands until it comes back.
Everything has its time and its place, and if you're not on it with that person directly next to you, then you're dirty.
If a color guard goes out there and drops everything, you're not going to get a high score. You really have to be almost perfect.
And that color guard plays a key role in this Blue Devil show. It's a 1920s dance marathon in reverse. Exhausted in the beginning, the performers pick up energy as the show moves forward. Or is it backwards?
Welcome to the Dance of Destiny, ladies and gentlemen. Round we go, and we're all beginning, folks, all beginning. Where will it stop? How will it end? One couple and only one will waltz out of here the grand prize. Number 19, number 18, number 17, number 16, number 15, number 14, number 13, couple number 12 from California, number 11, number 10, number 9, number 8, number 7, number 6, number 5, number 4, number 3, number 2, number 1. Dancers, are you ready? Audience, are you ready?
Yowzer, we're back at the beginning of that 20s dance marathon with the Blue Devils, who started their season with a European tour.
What great choreography, as always, from the Blue Devils, who have won the Color Guard Trophy way too many times to count. A very unique concept for this show, but a very difficult and challenging one to sell to the audience. 11 times DCI champions. Unbelievable.
And tonight, the Blue Devils were in with a score of 95.250.
Look at that GE score, 37.7. It only ties them with the Blue Coats. Bears out the challenge of selling this show.
Jessica's on the field now with a couple of those dance marathon survivors.
I'm here with Cassidy and Matt. Now, what did the Color Guard have to do to make that dance marathon come to life tonight?
We just had to pull together as a team. You can't be an individual in this activity. You really have to go for it all out as a team, no man down.
You just have to keep pushing all season long and working hard, never giving up on anything you do.
All right, thank you guys.
When we come back, the inspirational story of one young woman's perseverance to march in drum corps against life and death odds. You won't want to miss this.
So those of you that are...
Welcome back to the 2005 Drum Corps International World Championship. The Phantom Regiment hopes to improve upon their third-place semifinal standing. All these corps want to win, but for one young lady out there, a junior from the University of Minnesota, just being here is a huge personal victory.
It was something that I would never wish on my worst enemy. It was December of 2002, and I got sick with the flu on about a Tuesday. I was on my way to the bathroom, and I almost passed out. Through that night, I had no idea what was going on at first. I was in the emergency room and just hearing them saying they can't find a pulse and they can't find a vein. And I knew it was getting bad when I heard the echocardiologist say that she was called in, especially for me. Once the cardiologist came, it was probably about a half an hour or so, and they decided they should probably move immediately. And the surgeon came in because they didn't think I was going to make it through the night if I waited. I had what's called myocarditis, which was caused by the flu, because instead of attacking my lungs and causing pneumonia, it had traveled into my heart. And the cardiologist came in and said that I was going to need an artificial heart, which I couldn't believe at the time, and it was very shocking. My dad almost passed out, actually, when he heard what they had to say. I don't remember exactly what they said to me about my prognosis, but I remember my parents telling me that the doctors told them when I went into the OR that I had a 1 in 3 chance of making it out of surgery. I keep my own heart, and they'd be able to take the pump out once my heart healed. I had a 1 in 3 chance of them putting the pump in and it not working, or I had a 1 in 3 chance of not making it out of surgery at all. It was never an option that I wasn't going to make it or that this wasn't going to work. It was always going to work, and I was going to heal, and my heart was going to recover, and everything was going to be fine. Coming out of it, I actually don't remember 3 days of my life, but the first thing I remember was this pump in my stomach, because it's about this big around and weighs about 5 pounds and is about 2 inches thick. And then also I remember looking down and seeing the staples down my chest because they had to crack my chest bone open to get in there. The first thing I actually said, my dad told me later, was that I didn't have Christmas presents yet for them. And the second was that to tell the marching band that I couldn't go on the bowl trip with them. When I first got sick, I was in the process of changing majors because I realized that music was what I loved and that's what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And then when I was in the hospital, I received a letter that said I had been accepted to the School of Music, which was really a bright day in all of the process. And the marching band was amazing. They were people that helped me through a lot. The day before they left for the bowl game, came in and said that they're thinking about me and everything. And I watched a tape of the bowl game later, and my section, which is the baritone section, had blown a picture up of me, about a life-size picture, and put my head on a stick and brought it to the bowl game, and it actually made it on the TV. So They Get on the Stick was on TV. I remember putting my hand right here on my chest and looking up at my dad and saying that, he said, I can feel my heartbeat. And he's like, well, yeah, because the pump is pumping. And I said, no, I feel the pump and then I feel my heart behind it. And that was the one day when I knew everything was going to be okay. They thought I was going to be in the hospital for at least a year with the LVAD and then be able to go home after that. Since I'm young and active, I recovered faster than they ever expected. When I got it taken out, it was a relief, and I knew that I was going to be okay, and that was a big stepping point. The doctors all said I was a miracle child. My dad's a band director, so I've grown up with drum corps my whole life. I actually have a ticket from a drum corps show in my baby book because my dad had to miss a show because I was born. I've gone to shows as long as I can remember, and the Phantom Regiment has been a corps that I've always loved. And I always wanted to march somewhere, so I decided to try out, and I made it, which was amazing. And even after all this, like, I am really glad I'm doing this. And when people say, I can't believe you're doing that, I'm just like, well, I'm not gonna let this get in my way.
What an amazing young lady. Megan's on the field right now with Phantom Regiment. She still has an implanted defibrillator and is monitored closely. And up in the stands, there's her dad right there, Wayne Ivers, ready to watch his brave daughter. Phantom Regiment uses a Gene Kelly-type character to tell the story of a 20s-era American in Paris, a la George Gershwin. may be the crowd favorites of 2005. Phantom Regiment lit the place up here in Foxborough tonight.
I love this show, Steve. Love the way it connects with the audience. Love what it did to me emotionally. They've been solid in every single caption all year long, but it's that general effects score that has been the key to their success.
And this night was a milestone for Phantom's Megan Ivers. Let's check in with her dad.
I have found Mr. Wayne Ivers. Could you have imagined 3 years ago that you would be sitting here tonight?
Oh, no way. It's amazing that she's here and what she's gone through, and we're just thrilled. We were just hoping she'd recover, you know, and live through her ordeal, let alone to be out here in a championship corps and marching and doing this. It's unbelievable.
Now, are there words for how proud you are of Megan tonight?
No, I can't. I can't. There isn't anything. No, she's a fabulous kid, and you know, her mother has said forever, when she was sick every day, she says, you know, be positive, stay positive, and good things will happen, and this will be okay. And there it is. There's no words to describe how I can feel now.
Megan, your dad just talked about how proud he is of you, but how proud are you of yourself, of everything you've accomplished?
It's been an incredible year. I've been pushed farther than I've ever been pushed before by myself and by our staff, and it's been an amazing season just to get through all this and to be here at finals. It's incredible.
Was there ever a time you considered giving up?
There wasn't, but there were times when I had doubts about myself, but I pushed through it, and I pushed myself farther than I've ever gone before. So it's been an amazing, and I've grown as a person because of this.
Well, congratulations. Thank you so much, Megan.
Thank you.
And a big score for Phantom Regiment, 96.825.
And that's a big GE score there. Recognizable melodies, brilliant colors, entertaining show from beginning to end, Steve.
And so Phantom sits firmly atop the leaderboard. In fact, there's not a lot of room left for our last two corps. We'll be right back.
So good. So good.
Now there's a future drum corps member in training. Welcome back to Foxborough. The goal for all these young men and women is to walk away with the championship trophy. But win or lose, they all walk away with something remarkable.
Drum corps people are unique people.
It takes a lot of drive to be able to get yourself to do something like this.
You work 16 hours a day to perfect the show over a 10, 12-week period.
The show is never at the level we want it to be, and we always need to take it to the next level.
You're just making it CD quality.
So we wake up in the morning as early as there's a sun out, basically, and we get out here and we step on the field and we try and make this show better.
Like, you can't go out to rehearsal and just, like, practice. Like, you have to go out there and you have to perform it like you're in front of all those people that are going to be there finals night. You have to give it your all every second of the day.
It's physically very demanding, but I don't think that's the hardest part. The hardest part is the mental portion of it and being able to push yourself through the extremely long and extremely hot days.
You take your mind out of your body and you tell yourself, this is not going to stop me. Because yeah, you're sweating and you're disgusting and you feel tired and you say, man, I can't do it one more time. But then something inside you and some of the people next to you say, yes, you can. And before you know it, the rehearsal's over.
1, 2, ready, move!
It's intense.
It's the best feeling in the entire world.
My heart started racing. I was a little bit nervous.
You feel this energy, like you feel almost like you're standing up taller and you're taller than everybody else.
I looked to the person I stand next to and I just said, this is gonna be great.
When you first walk in and you look up, it's really overwhelming, the amount of people that have come to watch you.
You look at this huge crowd and the announcer asks us if we're ready, and you're just thinking, like, hell yes, I'm ready. This is what I've been waiting for. This is why I woke up early today to unloaded the truck and sweat all day.
On the really long, hot days when you just want to go inside and sit in some air conditioning, the shows definitely make everything worth it.
And it's so exciting to be able to step out on that field and play soft and play mellow and really bring them in and play loud and blow them back in their seat. It means so much when you throw down your horn at the end of the show and you feel everyone's breath right along with you and you know that you've achieved what you've been working for all summer.
And you realize that the entire ensemble is connected.
nothing can compare to that. When the entire audience stands up for you and you know that it's for all the hard work that you did the whole summer. And it pays off right there.
If I could do this until I die, I would. It's just that awesome.
In the long run, it's what we all do drum corps for. We do it to go out in front of tons of people and try to achieve perfection and have those people witness it and appreciate it.
They're in the house, the New England Patriots of Drum Corps. The Cavaliers from Rosemont, Illinois. 3 world championships in the last 4 years. And by the look and sound of things, they're gunning for another one.
Never, never will go wrong, so march on the big Cavaliers. As we march on through the years, we march along and sing the song, for we are the Cavaliers. We are the Cavaliers, there is no God we fear. We march along and sing the song, for we know that we never will march on the big Cavaliers. As we march on through the years, we march along and sing the song, for we are the Cavaliers. Hey!
Show up, Cavaliers. You gonna show up? Yeah. Are you gonna show up? Yeah! Let's go. Get in there now.
All
right.
Let's do it. Hey, listen up! Listen up! 1, 2, 3, slow!
They're standing in second place right now, and they don't like it one bit. When we come back, the Cavaliers defend their world championship title. The nation's top drum corps are going head-to-head to see who's the best of 2005. So far, it's Phantom Regiment atop the leaderboard. Remember, the perfect score is 100, so it's getting mighty crowded there at the top. Phantom's been sneaking up on the Cavaliers all season long. The Cavies are going to have to really sell their salute to the city of Chicago tonight.
Cavaliers!
And with that, the Cavaliers hit it out of the park with the Cubs taking the Red Sox in a pseudo-World Series game. Dennis, was their show a home run tonight?
Absolutely, Steve. Just amazing coordination of all the elements to create one magnificent show. Hints of all those Chicago tunes, even the national anthem on timpani. Just magnificent stuff.
And poor Johnny Damon left out there, shagging the home run in the outfield. Let's look at it again on the replay. Attention to detail.
This is so typical of them. The whole corps watches the flight of the ball. The audience goes right with them. It's just great.
I'm here with Jeff Fiedler, co-director of the Cavaliers. Jeff, when you win 3 championships in 4 years, do you feel a sense of being the hunted?
Always. We don't let it affect us that way, but you do know that people want to get you because to get to the championship, they got to get by you. And so we just work to do better than we do every year previous to that.
Excellent. Now, Jeff, tonight the Cavaliers scored a 97.625. Is it going to be enough to win?
Some years that's enough to win. I don't know. It depends on how the other team did. We always want a couple more tenths, but we'll take that.
Oh, whoa, I got to run.
One performance left tonight. The Cadets have been atop the standings for 2 weeks now. One more win, and the World Championship is theirs.
It's going to be incredible, man. And Brian.
Welcome back. The Cadets are getting ready to take the field. It has been their championship to lose this week, coming in at number 1 and holding off the Cavaliers through quarterfinals and semis. Can they do it when it really matters?
Tonight's all that matters. The rest of it is all background. All that gives you is a heck of a lot of confidence. When I say to your people today, it's the truth. This is the best performing ensemble night after night after night that I've ever been around. And that's a long time to be around. Okay, there is no question in my mind. You had great warm-ups. You're going to go out and tear this place up. You're the best damn drum corps in the world. Here we go.
Oh, holding, my holding, playing sweet eternally, and spread throughout the land and keep sick forevermore. Well, the trail on march, the years holding, our straight to victory, for holding shall always be.
Here we go, here we go.
Here we go!
Here we go.
This show is surreal. From the two-sided uniforms to a bewildered schoolgirl dancing in the dark.
It's called The Zone. Dreamscapes with a door. Sometimes, Steve, you just have to let art be art.
The cadets came to play tonight, and they brought their own judge with them from the zone.
Well, they didn't have to bring their own judge tonight, Steve. That was one of the greatest performances in the history of drum corps. Coming in, they're leading in general effect, in color guard, in brass, in percussion, in visual. An amazing achievement by this 8-time champion.
And boy, what a drum line.
Listen to this tenor feature with the judge right in front. Look at that. Talk about laying it on the line.
Was that a winning World Championship performance?
Yeah, they were fabulous. They've been great all week, but they just get a little bit better every night, so it's been a lot of fun.
Now, was there a point in the season when you realized, you know what, I think this might be a World Championship team?
Maybe mid-season, after we got the kinks out. Beginning of the season, I wasn't too sure. But as the things developed, it became pretty clear, and the kids are pretty special. They can perform night after night. They've been doing it for about 3 weeks now, so it's been great.
Now, can you pinpoint what made a difference in this year's success?
We talk about it. Confidence or victory, what comes first. I think being rewarded kind of builds your confidence. Your confidence feeds back in, and that kind of just kept building, and they realized that the show was being accepted, and so they became even more enthused about it, I think. So wherever that happened, San Antonio, somewhere in the middle of the year.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Did the cadets hold on to number 1, or have the reigning champs, the Cavaliers, captured another gold medal? When we return, all the corps will be back on the field, and a champion will be crowned. And all the corps are back on the field. The awards are being given. We're up to our top 3 medalists. The bronze medal goes to
Phantom Regiment.
A great season for Phantom Regiment.
So good to see them back in the top 3. Listen to this crowd.
Yeah, the crowd loved them. And now the moment of truth between the Cavaliers and the cadets for the championship.
Receiving the silver medal tonight with a score of 97.625. 97.625. The Cavaliers.
A lofty score, but not high enough. The Cavaliers unable to defend their title against the cadets. Now the question is, by how much did they win?
Receiving the gold medal, the 2005 Drum Corps International World Champion with a score of 99.15. 99.15. The Cadets.
Wow, the cadets take the title with a number that is near and dear to Drum Corps fans, 99.15. That's significant.
Ties the all-time record, 99.15, set by the Cavaliers in 2002.
So looking at the leaderboard, the other big story in the top 6, the Bluecoats with their highest finish ever at number 5. Carolina Crown is 7th. Santa Clara Vanguard climbs 2 spots through the course of the week to finish in 8th. Let's go down to Jessica now with 2 members of the cadets.
I'm here with the cadets drum majors. You guys' favorite memories from tonight's performance?
I think every moment of the show was miraculous. From the moment that the horn line started playing to the moment I got down and walked off the field, it was an absolutely spectacular performance.
Now you're aging out this year. What are you going to remember?
5 hard years of work and 1 night paying off for all those great years.
Do you have a special moment from tonight's performance?
It's funny that you call it a moment because it really goes by just like that. I mean, it feels like a second from the time that you come on the field to the time you go off. I think what I remember most is the time before and after the show when when you see people and how emotional they are before and after, and it's really touching to see all that.
Now, what went through your minds when you heard the score at 99.15?
Not gonna lie, I think my heart jumped into my chest and out my throat sort of thing, but it definitely very exciting.
What a great night here in Foxborough. The Age-Outs having a big time on the field, as they call it a career. 12 great performances tonight. These corps just keep getting better and better. My personal high point, that luscious Phantom Regiment horn line. But hey, we were treated to a mock World Series game out here tonight, courtesy of the Cavaliers, in which the Cubs beat the Red Sox, which may be surreal enough for Cub fans to have been a great setup for that Cadets Championship show.
Unbelievable performance by the Cadets, tying the all-time record score at 99.15. Their 9th championship. They swept all captions. All 9 judges had them in first place. That's very unusual.
The cadets get to savor the year as champions. A lot of corps will be looking to knock them off when we go to Madison, Wisconsin in 2006 for the Drum Corps International World Championships. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.